Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. Jeremy Hogan has provided us with a trend, and the frequency with which Judge Torres issues judgments may provide a clue as to when this issue, Ripple vs. SEC, will be resolved. He ended up helping himself. Do not take this as a forecast. Just a pattern he's seen and is passing along to us. We'll investigate. But we all know that this will end, that they're out of options, and that a decision is imminent. That's really all that matters to me. As of right now, it doesn't matter to me what the decision is. Keep in mind that we've never sought any exceptions to the regulations, we've simply sought clarity on the matter. How do the rules of securities relate to cryptocurrency today? You might be wondering at this point why anyone would want to deal with this. What is Ripple doing in this place, anyway? The United States accounts for only 4% of the world's population but generates 13% of the world's GDP, which begs the question of why any enterprise would bother having its token traded there. However, the United States accounts for 45% of the world's capital market, and Apple alone is larger than the capital markets of several nations. It provides an enormous amount of money and influence to the country. And I think that gets to the meat of a lot of the conflict. The public believes banks and bankers are trying to stop crypto in exchange for favors, but in reality, they are just seeking to maintain their monopoly on the financial markets. And in the future, it won't be simply traditional assets. Cryptos will be included when they mature into their own asset class in the years to come. Therefore, having the largest stock market in the world makes things more difficult. But you had better figure it out if you want to keep your top spot. Once again, we review the history of Internet-era legislation. And you can picture how different the US economy would look if they had a welcoming atmosphere for your Facebooks and the Amazons and your Googles. Imagine if all those companies had been established in Europe back in the early 2000s, when the region was experiencing its own version of the dot-com boom. The effort was certainly worthwhile. And it was just normal growing pains. If you messed that up, though, the whole economy would look very different from how it does now. That way of thinking is required, as is familiarity with the components that will eventually create the metaverse that is the Web 3.0 AI blockchain. And those will be the foundation upon which future expansion is built. Take caution, and make sure you're doing it properly. But you need to move forward and make some choices. Today, we'll discuss recent events in the news. The effort seems unnecessary. That's why the demand for your ripples in this sector of the market is so high. They plan to become a global power, and as such, they are still interested in tapping into this capital market by having their coins traded here and their stock listed on US stock exchanges. It's the difficult ones that teach you the most, and you should never avoid them. It's about having the option to work in countries like India, China, and the USA. And guess what? If you're good at business, if you're going to support an expanding economy with growth and new employment and, growing efficiencies, things like this, you're going to be successful, although it isn't always simple. The task will be completed. This is what he has to say now. Jeremy Hogan. Decisions in the Ripple case have been issued roughly every 9 weeks by the judge, on September 29th, December 19th, March 6th, and May 16th. And summary judgment has yet to be used for a key decision. This is not a forecast, but rather a pattern that appears around the middle of July and seems to coincide with the Hinman predictions. Documents are intended to be released thanks to the Hinman timeframes. They're probably waiting for that to happen before issuing a summary judgment. And so, you can see how everything is starting to fall into place. We all know the end is near, and I've explained how I anticipate it to occur in the most recent films. However, I believe that was too narrow. In my opinion, it really is that simple. Past events are of little consequence compared to the need for Ripple Net SEC to meet to discuss this. It's not unlike the library case where we had a judgment and then they had to come together to figure out what were the sanctions going to be, and for library is relatively easy. It's about how they agree upon future conduct, how to operate things like this. They had reached a dead end. The cost of the actual lawsuit put them out of business. It won't work that way with Ripple, they'll need some time to talk things through. At that time, I believe we can truly say, you know what, now this is behind us, anything could happen. Despite the possibility of appeals and the Supreme Court getting involved, I doubt any of that will be necessary. I believe the SEC is eager to have a ruling officially adopted in this matter. After that, the next step is to figure out a long-term fix. Unfortunately, most of the agreements made there will likely never be made public. I really hope so. The cryptocurrency industry, the various projects, and the various agreements that govern them could all learn a lot from this model. However, I believe the day a summary judgment is issued is the day when we can finally put this in the past. But once they settle on the punishments, Ripple will know exactly how to proceed. Until then, we won't be able to find out what exchanges support XRP trading. When will this end result be fair, ultimately, given that Ripple was cooperating with the SEC, communicating what they were doing, asking for guidance, and if we don't have to go through this long, multi-year crusade, going to appeals and up the ladder and continuing this argument? Unfortunately, I'd like to bring up a fascinating project now, in the sake of being fair. Although it has caught my attention and made headlines recently, I want to be clear that I am not advising you to go out and buy this coin. Rather, I am merely advising you to keep an eye on it for the time being. Actually, I'm out. This is something that my friend Myron has been harping on about for a while. Global currency. Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, is in charge. He's been at it for some time. And this identifying method uses AI. I believe there is a UBI element to it as well. It is traded on just one little cryptocurrency exchange and barely moves at all. So, once again, I can't say when it will be a good time to invest, but it's not now. But now it's spiking due to some major developments. So I'd like to look into it, learn more about it, and file it away for possible future consideration. More listings on several exchanges are appearing, and there is a more defined plan of action. I took a look at it earlier today. It's creepy that they're saying you have to seek out these unknown oracles. They look at your face to establish your identification or something. Today's press release, however, reveals that 115 million of Altman's WorldCoin have been reserved for decentralized ID. This is what they had to say about it. Decentralized privacy-protecting solutions that can demonstrate online humanity and provide individuals everywhere more agency over their identities and finances are essential in the age of AI. What's interesting is that they just raised $115 million from a number of extremely large investors, including a 16. It's not simple to raise $115 million from VC heavy hitters right now, especially in the crypto space. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, is also involved. His company is exploring blockchain applications in artificial intelligence. I bring it up again because I don't want to encourage you to engage in shady dealings. And who knows, what happens there, just take a look at it, put the information away, but keep an eye on this and see how it develops. There could be something here. The following post will discuss how specific crypto legislation in the United States could get things moving. The EU's crypto regulatory framework is currently serving as a valuable model for us legislators, and it is widely held that all of these countries will push themselves into the future. This is precisely why it is impossible to halt the march of progress. We live in a highly competitive world where you must compete not only with your enemies, but also with your allies. As each jurisdiction enacts legislation that makes that space crypto-friendly for entrepreneurs to come in and spend money and create jobs, the United States will be forced to do the same, and I believe that day is drawing near. This is, without a doubt, the article's most compelling quotation. No one can say with any degree of certainty which crypto assets, if any, are securities under U.S. federal law. The cryptocurrency market is already worth over $1 trillion, so this is not a trivial query. This is a huge departure from the Clayton and Hinman era, when the thought was, how do we get these crypto projects to not be securities? You are not a security if you are both decentralized and useful. That's a little bit of a departure from Gary Gensler's style. His outlook is security-focused, he thinks everyone wants a piece of the action. And here's a comment from Hester Peirce. Instead, the Commission has offered a series of one-off enforcement actions, supplemented by public speeches and other statements that one commissioner has broadly described as confusing, unhelpful, and inconsistent. Indeed, that is the case. Surely you'll listen to Citizen Hinman's speech and be like, oh, I see. Then Gary comes along with a completely new idea. There is just nothing we can do. Time will tell, but I imagine things will start moving very fast once it becomes clear whether or if they need to lobby Congress for new legislation or whether or not they have powers right now under existing regulatory frameworks in light of the pending Ripple court case. Keep in mind that from the government's perspective, 6 months to a year and a half is considered to be quite rapid. Obviously not today, but we will succeed. Now, an intriguing article. I won't summarize it all here, but I will highlight the ambiguity that exists. The head of the CFTC at the moment says that cryptos are commodities. However, the previous CFTC maintains that they are incompatible. We are fortunate to live in a world where the current CFTC chairman can reach consensus with his predecessor. You should know that every attorney and every member of the SEC has their own opinion. Not even our own oversight bodies are in on the secret. That's an issue, and it will be addressed in the future. You know, this ledger information is the last thing I want to discuss. And I am all for creative approaches that can interest more people in cryptocurrency. I've alluded to this briefly, but I'm not sure I fully understand what was said. I don't think it's a good idea to publicly share your seed phrases on the internet. It's not something I'd recommend doing. Even if encrypted, it's still in pieces, only a fraction is reaching each business. That just doesn't make sense. However, I do not reign supreme over digital currency. What bothers me is that I don't want my gadget to be able to advise you which services to use or which ones to provide on your ledger. Well, you can't. The seed phrase is protected by the secure feature, I was told when I bought the device. This is a new development. To enable this functionality, though, you'll need to upgrade the device's hardware and firmware. I don't want that to be an option on any gadget I own. However, this is the most crucial aspect. Just by thinking about it, I can tell that this is a brand new service they hope will bring in customers. When it becomes somewhat more secure, I anticipate that many of your future users will make use of brokerages and cryptocurrency exchanges. In addition, there is a higher level of safety, insurance, and legal protection. By the way, that's a big issue right now. I don't think a lot of non-crypto enthusiasts are going to use hardware wallets. I think what's going to happen is that the government will mandate that a customer can recover their funds if they lose their seed phrase, but they don't really care about that. They want businesses to be able to retrieve the seed words in question if they are served with a valid legal process. That certainty, I think, is just around the corner. To be honest, I don't blame them too much. If the government were to inform me, say, via YouTube channels, that the following procedures are to be implemented, what would I do? I wouldn't go around fighting the system and proclaiming myself a champion. Personally, I'm not a fan of this because there will soon be easy do-it-yourself alternatives to using a centralized exchange to store all of your money. It is possible to create a hardware wallet in addition to a software wallet, but doing so will be slightly more cumbersome. To be completely forthright, that is where we are headed. Fringe Solutions will likely need to hire additional crypto enthusiasts if it intends to fully self-custody its assets. Even the largest wallets, like MetaMask and the ones used by most significant companies, will likely be compelled to provide this feature if they want to remain competitive. If I had to guess, that's what this is all about, I think. Leave a comment and tell me what you think. Please like if you enjoyed it and subscribe as always. See you in the next video. Bye.